the country's most controversial new political parties is targeting the East Midlands for its parliamentary debut. Justice for Men and Boys believes the state has become obsessed with feminism and that the male half of society is losing out. It's putting up candidates in some of our most marginal constituencies, and in a moment we'll be hearing from its leader. But first, we asked the people of Ashfield, one of the party's target seats, if they think that men are getting a raw deal.
No, I think everybody's equal. Everybody's got it the same. Everything's difficult nowadays to get a job, or everything's a struggle.
Yeah, it's laughable. Yeah. Sorry, but it is.
It's just absolute rubbish, the fact that they think men gets better than women. Because to be honest with you, we're all equal.
I think we're miles beyond that. I mean, we don't, it's ridiculous. I don't agree with that at all, the new party.
And how well do you think it would be received here locally?
I don't think it'll go down very well. Not really. Not with women anyway.
I think somebody from the area would be better than somebody from the outside, you know, that knows everything. I mean, we've got roadworks and stuff going off here and we don't even know what's going off. We don't even know what they're actually doing.
When it comes to like children, and then the women always seems to get the children and the men don't, and things like that.
Rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
Yeah?
Absolute.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, Mike Buchanan, who founded the Justice for Men and Boys and the Women Who Love Them party, to give it its full title, is with me now, and he's standing for your party in Ashfield. Mike, from what we've just seen, it's not looking too hopeful in Ashfield. People there are basically saying you're stuck in the past, things have moved on, and to be honest, with all due respect, they're laughing.
They wouldn't laugh if they looked at our election manifesto, which is online. We campaign in 20 areas where the human rights of men and boys are assaulted by the state. They've been ever more assaulted by the state for over 30 years, and it is just getting worse and worse. And you know, an indicator of that is that the male suicide rate today is 3.3 times higher than the female suicide rate. That differential has nearly doubled in 30 years.
Why do we need a party like yours now, though? I mean, you've been formed only for two years. Why now? Because
all the parties are institutionally pro-female and anti-male, including the Conservatives under David Cameron.
What do you base that on?
Well, all their policy directions you know, they're always about advantaging women and girls at the expense of men and boys. Always. As I say, we have 20 areas, things like homelessness, domestic violence is a good example. And in the last time I passed by Gloria de Piero's office, she had two posters in the window about domestic violence. One was a helpline for victims of domestic violence, and it had a phone number which was, the organisation only helped female victims, and the other one was to do with male perpetrators. Now, 350 odd studies tell us that that women are at least as physically aggressive towards their male partners.
And two women a week are killed by their male partners. That's another statistic to give you.
It's not. It was 75 a year or two back, the latest statistic. So it's declined by 25%.
Maggie, what do you make to Mike's views here?
I feel it's like going back in time. I mean, everybody's worked hard to get equality for men and women, and equality is important. And for example, in just this coming April, there will be combined parental leave rights, so men will have the right to spend more time with their children from an employment point of view. There's lots of really good things happening. And I just find it really bizarre that you feel the need to have a party like this. You talk about domestic violence. It's already recognised that men can suffer domestic violence as well as women and children.
I'm making. But there's no support for them.
But there is support for them.
There's virtually none. No, I'm sorry, but again, if you're going back to our manifesto, at the last count there were 17 refuge places for battered men in this country, and 4,500 for women. But there are as many battered men as there are battered women.
Chris,
but there's no support.
What do you make of this? You're saying basically men need more support for various issues.
Maybe a modern-day equivalent to the monster-raving loony party. I mean, it's completely bonkers what he's talking about here. And hold on, Mike. You've had your say, Mike. The facts are this, that 70% of low-paid workers on the minimum wage are women. Parliament is very underrepresented. Only 22% of parliamentarians, 23%
of MPs are female,
of parliamentarians are female. The top jobs are held predominantly by men. So clearly, women are discriminated against in society, and we've got to, it seems to me, to address that. And I think
it is a fact that only 23% of MPs are women.
But if you look at when I worked for the Conservatives between 2006 to 8, then the chairman in the second year was Caroline Spelman, and she recently admitted that only 10% of the applicants to become parliamentary candidates at that time were women.
But it's not just in politics, it's not just in the Conservative Party.
But the reason it's got nothing to do...
It goes across the board, and we need equality.
Well, I'll explain. No. What we need is what we've had for 40 years. I mean, you're representing the party who had the most extraordinary politician, Margaret Thatcher, 36 years ago. We've had equality of outcome. The reason...
No, but hold on, but Margaret Thatcher... I mean, look, Margaret Thatcher might have been a woman, but she put back the cause of women many, many, many years. The fact of the matter is that as a consequence of the policies that were pursued by
I don't think either of you are going to agree on that. But I want to know, Mike, I want to know why it is you're standing in Ashfield. Explain to me why you're standing in Ashfield. Why have you picked that seat? Well, it's no coincidence that seat is held by Gloria De Piero, who you mentioned before.
Yes. Well, she's a Minister for Women and Equalities. Shadow Minister, I'm sorry, yes, for Women and Equalities. And what does that tell you about politics? That there is concern always for women. Why is there no Minister for men? If we're talking about gender equality, where's the Minister for men? And as I say, we have 20 areas. Domestic violence, as I say, no support from the state for men.
Is it true that you're also thinking of putting someone up in Nicky Morgan's seat in Loughborough? She is the Women's Minister.
Yes.
It's a bit of a theme emerging here.
Well, it is.
Are you against women?
No. We're an anti-feminist party, which is something completely different. Because
you don't have to be a feminist to want equality.
And of course not. But what I'm saying is that the predominant ideology that's been driving politics, and in fact much else in this country, public bodies certainly, for well over 30 years has been radical feminism. And that's got nothing to do with gender equality. It is all to do with female supremacy. And it's driven by
I mean, it seems to me, Mike, you've had a problem, it seems to me, of forming a relationship with women, it seems to me. I mean, you've been divorced twice, haven't you? I mean, I don't think you should try and play out your difficulties with women through the political process.
I think
it's absolutely shameful what you're
putting forward.
Of course it's not. No. And it is pathetic for an MP to use shaming tactics rather than say there are 20 areas where the human rights of men and boys are assaulted, from education...
Well, why don't you tackle that then? I mean, it's not about sort of saying, well, women are being discriminated in favour of, because quite clearly they haven't been. What we need, it seems to me, to do is address the inequalities in society. Women are discriminated against, but so are working class people.
Women are not discriminated.
What we've seen over the last 35 years is wealthy people in this country getting more and more rich, and ordinary working people paying the price of that. And women have been the worst victims of that.
Let's stay on the subject and go now to Gloria De Piero, who, by the way, seems totally unmoved by all of this. She's actually given us a pretty simple statement. She said, I'll let the voters of Ashfield make up their own minds about Mike Buchanan's views. She doesn't sound too worried. We also spoke to another candidate, Jason Zadrozny, the Liberal Democrat.
People I know talk about real issues. We knock on doors every day. We're not some sort of 70s seaside postcard for people to make a joke out of. We're talking about winter gritting here today. We're talking about potholes and jobs. Those are the issues that really matter to people, not feminism now. We want equality for everybody, and we want a fairer, better Ashfield, not some joke candidates and some fringe people that are taken away from those debates.
So, Mike, he was basically saying a joke candidate.
Well, that's because that shows the contempt that politicians have across the board for half their electorate. So is it a joke candidate that we are the only party in the country that is standing up for the only political party in this country, in fact, in the English-speaking world, that is standing up for fathers to see their children?
OK, but what Jason was saying there in that clip of interview is he was talking about real issues that he says affect the people in that area. He's talking about the potholes, the gritting currently, and real issues. And that's the point, isn't it? You're not a political party, you're a pressure group, really.
No, we're a political party. So fathers denied access...
You don't have members, do you?
No, we don't have members, no. But we have donors, women and men. But so is he saying then that fathers denied access to their children is not a key issue?
He wasn't talking about that. He was talking about...
But why not? That's the point. I mean,
because I guess he's talking about the issues that affect people in his constituency.
But they affect thousands of men in his constituency, men who cannot see their children. That is emotional abuse of children. of fathers and of grandparents. And not one of these damn parties is standing up for men.
You'll find now that men do have the right to see their children unless they're going to harm the children.
Nonsense,
in fact,
absolute nonsense.
I was actually with a gentleman in my constituency this week who has got custody of his children. I mean, any single parent struggles, whether male or female, and I take my hat off to them. So it does,
no.
so men do have
So to get back
custody.
to why you're fielding candidates in the East Midlands specifically, 3 candidates in the East Midlands, why have you chosen this area and nowhere else? Do you think we've specific problems that are in your manifesto that we should be addressing, particularly here in the East Midlands?
I think it covers, you know, the
so
entire...
why here then?
Well, because there are 3 marginal seats. And you know, so we're contesting 2 Conservative seats and one Labour seat. And Gloria De Piero, as the Shadow Minister for Women and Equalities, was an obvious target. And she has
because she's a woman?
No, because she has this ludicrous title, Women and Equalities.
Are you standing against any men?
Yes, 2.
And who are they?
Mark Spencer.
Sherwood.
In Sherwood, and Anna Subri. In Broxtowe.
Okay.
Well,
she's not a man, though, is she? She's a woman.
Sorry, yes. Okay.
Yeah. So 2 women and 1 man.
Yes.
Okay. Chris, some may think that Mike's views are extreme, but isn't he entitled to campaign on them? He has a view.
Well, he can campaign on them, but I don't think he'll get very much support. And I think your Vox Pop illustrated the fact that most people think that it's absolutely bonkers. We have moved on, and that is a very positive thing, it seems to me. But what we must also remember, of course, is that there is still a lot of discrimination in our societies. I've already pointed out, you know, women are disproportionately represented in low-paid occupations, and we've got to actually address that. I mean, it makes us a stronger and better society, it seems to me, if we value all members of society and don't marginalise a group of society which is, after all,
Chris,
the biggest proportion. There's more women in this country than there are men.
Okay. So. Mike Buchanan, thanks very much indeed for coming up from Bedfordshire to talk to us.